ഇംഗ്ലീഷ് പേപ്പറിനെ ആസ്പദമാക്കിയുള്ള ആദ്യ ക്ലാസ് കേൾക്കാം. അവതരിപ്പിക്കുന്നത് SMV ഗവൺമെന്റ് മോഡൽ ഹയർ സെക്കൻഡറി സ്കൂൾ അധ്യാപകൻ ഫെലിക്സ് ജോഫ്രി.
Good evening. Welcome to yet another episode of Vijayawani. Today, let us have a discussion on the paper English of Standard 10. As you all know, the English paper that consists of a total score of 80 focuses mainly on discourses like diary writing, notice drafting, review, conversation, slogan writing, drafting a letter, speech, etc. In addition to these, there will be a comprehension passages from both the prose and the poetry. There will be a little grammar too. Now, let us go through some of the discourses from your course book. First of all, what about analyzing textual prose passages? For this discourse, you must be very thorough with the textual passages. There will be 5 to 6 questions of the following types. A. Analyzing the passages. B. Using the language elements. C. Identifying the vocabulary items. And D. Constructing a dialogue. Let us now listen to a prose passage from the lesson Vanka. Please listen. Even the dogs would be given snuff. Kastanga would sneeze, shake her head and walk away offended, but Eel, too polite to sneeze, would wag his tail. And the weather was glorious, the air still, transparent and fresh. It was a dark night, but the old village with its white roofs, the smoke rising from the chimneys, the trees silver with rime, the snowdrifts could be seen distinctly. The sky was sprinkled with the gaily twinkling stars, and the Milky Way stood out as clearly as if newly scrubbed for the holiday and polished with snow. Now listen to the questions. What description about the climate do we get in the passage? Answer. The weather is described as glorious. Second question. How would Kastanga react to the snuff? Answer. Kastanga would sneeze, shake her head, and walk away offended. Moving on to the third question. What sights does a person see in the dark night? Listen to the answer. In the dark night, we will come across the old village with its white roofs, the smoke rising from the chimneys, the trees silver with rime, the snowdrifts, the sky sprinkled with gaily twinkling stars, and the snow-polished Milky Way. Fourth question. Pick out from the passage a word with the meaning to rub something hard in order to clean it. You might have spotted the answer. The answer is scrubbed. Read the sentence taken from the passage. The Milky Way stood out as clearly as if newly scrubbed from the holiday. Now write a sentence using as if. The answer. Nathan is playing football as if he were Messi. Now listen to an additional passage for you to work out. In the spring, when the banyan tree was full of small red figs, birds of all kinds would flock into the branches. The red-bottomed bulbul, cheerful and greedy, gossiping rosy pastors, and parrots and crows, squabbling with each other all the time. During the fig season, the banyan tree was the noisiest place on the road. Now, some questions based on the above read passage. When will the birds of all kinds flock into the branches of banyan tree? The answer is spring season. Second question. What are the specialities of fig season? Answer. Birds will flock and there will be a lot of figs. Pick out from the passage a word with the meaning a noisy quarrel about something trivial. The answer is squabble. How was the banyan tree the noisiest place during the fig season? The answer is, when the birds will flock on the tree. Shall we now listen to a passage from the lesson, The Best Investment I Ever Made? Please be attentive. The passage. On the second day, out from New York, while making the round of promenade deck, I suddenly became aware that one of the passengers was watching me closely, following me with his gaze every time I passed. I wanted to rest to avoid the tedium of casual and importunate shipboard contacts. I gave no signs of having noticed the man, yet there was nothing importunate about him. On the contrary, he seemed affected by a troubled, rather touching diffidence. He was in his early 40s, rather short in build, with a fair complexion and clear blue eyes. His thin hair had begun to recede from his forehead. His dark suit, sober tie, and rimless spectacles gave evidence of a serious and reserved disposition. At this point, the bugle sounded for dinner, and I went below. Listen to the questions. Where does the incident take place? The answer is New York. Pick out from the passage a word with the meaning boredom. The answer is left for you. You have to find it out. Why did the narrator wish to take rest? To avoid the tedium of casual and importunate shipboard contacts. Now, prepare a character sketch of the man on the deck. Please observe the above-mentioned question. It is a character sketch. Character sketch is an analysis of a character in a literary piece of work. A sketch of a character using the appropriate words, throwing light on the physical appearance, mental state, and character traits is made while preparing the character sketch. Now, taking into account the indicators, let us try to work out the answer to the question. Prepare a character sketch of the man on the deck. Listen to the answer. The man was in his early 40s, rather short in build, with a fair complexion and clear blue eyes. His thin hair had begun to recede from his forehead. His dark suit, sober tie, and rimless spectacles gave evidence of a serious and reserved disposition. He was not importunate in his ways, but he seemed to be affected by a troubled, rather touching diffidence. Now you are familiar with a character sketch. For your exams, the question demanding a character sketch may appear with hints or without hints. Listen to this question. Prepare a character sketch of Martha in the story The Scholarship Jacket. Are you confident enough to work out some character sketches by yourself? Take your textbook, turn to the lesson The Never Never Nest by Cedric Mount. You might be familiar with the main characters of the one-act play. Jack, Jill, Jack's wives, and Aunt Jane. Can you prepare the character sketch of Aunt Jane after reading the lesson? You may not come across the physical appearance of Aunt Jane while going through the lesson. Don't worry. Take a flight into the world of imagination. Trace out the hints for preparing the character sketch. Once you have found the hints, use appropriate language to make it a character sketch. A somewhat similar discourse is there for you to work out. It is a profile writing. Don't mix it with character sketch. Profile is an information about a person's life, work, and interests. It projects the personal details and major achievements of the person described. While preparing a profile, try to follow this process. Go through the informations given. Sequence the informations. Use simple, clear language. Make use of appropriate linkers. Give a suitable title. You may also note this. Begin with the name of the person. Then you may use pronouns like he or she. Use the preposition on before days and dates. For example, on January 9, on Monday, etc. Use the preposition in before months and years. For example, in 1976, in February. Use the preposition at before small towns and villages. Some more informations for you. At shows exact time and also age and exact location. For example, at 10 a.m. at the age of 80. You may conclude the profile like, he passed away in 2016, or he reached the eternity in 1995, or simply he died in 1995. Let us now work out a sample question. Listen. Prepare a short profile of Majid Majidi using the hints given below. Please listen to the hints. Born April 17, 1959, Tehran, Iran. Education, Institute of Dramatic Arts, Tehran. Known as film director, producer, screenwriter. Famous works, The Color of Paradise, 1999, Byron, 2001, The Willow Tree, 2005. Awards, Grand Prix Award, nomination for the Academy Award for the Best Foreign Language Film. Now, the profile. Majid Majidi was born on April 17, 1959 in Tehran, Iran. He had his education at the Institute of Dramatic Arts in Tehran. He is well known as a film director, producer, and screenwriter. His famous films include The Color of Paradise, 1999, Baron, 2001, and The Willow Tree, 2005. He won the Grand Prix Award. He was nominated for the Academy Award for the Best Foreign Language Film. In this episode, we have discussed the three important discourses: comprehension from the textbook, character sketch, and profile writing. We'll be back to have a discussion on other discourses in coming episodes. Hope you enjoy the class. Thank you and good night.